The Iraq War had to a large degree the mission of capturing a looking glass technology that was dug up in Sumer, which was originally in the possession of Gaddafi in Libya, which is why they attacked Libya. Gaddafi got rid of it and gave it to Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was using this technology, viewing the future. The U.S. government went in after him because they felt that the fate of the world was at stake, because if they did not capture this technology and get it back and deconstruct it, that the earth would have a pole shift. But when you actually decipher these letters, it means the doctrine of the convergent timeline paradox. Here's the problem. You look through time with this device, and when you hit 2012, everything goes perfectly white. As you get closer and closer to 2012, starting in around 1980, a very strange thing has been happening when they use the looking glass. There is an interlacing of images. So right now, imagine that if I had this slide on half the time, and in the other half of the time, there was an image of like a face. And if I interlace them slowly, then maybe every second it goes from here to the face to here to the face. Then as it speeds up, it gets faster and faster to the point that if it were complex images, you couldn't make out one from the other because they're flip-flopping so fast, okay? That's called interlacing, and the frequency of the interlacing gets higher and higher as you go towards 2012. So anytime that they try to look at or they used to try to look because they're not using them anymore, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, bam. It's so interlaced that they have a whole server farm of computers just to deconstruct the two images and be able to see what they're looking at in the future. So again, this is what they're using. This is one of the main ones they're using, the Orion cube as they call it, or the cube. And also it's being used with looking glass. But what's going on with 2012? Well, here's another very interesting thing. We have multiple parallel futures that we can choose. And 2012 literally does represent create your own reality time. It has everything to do with what do you expect is going to happen. This is where thoughts becoming reality really takes on a whole new meaning in a way that you've never heard of before.
Yeah, welcome back with another banger. Yeah. Hit that like, sub it up, don't react, bounce. Hit that like, sub it up, don't react, bounce. Y'all feel me? Let's run it.
Let me show you where the shooter at the White House Correspondents' Dinner ran through. He comes right past these three doors, and I want to know where that was. So it turns out the Hilton has a 3D tour of the whole place, and you'll see those three doors are right by the elevator at the foyer of the terrace level. Let me show you the Hilton. There's this entrance on the lobby level down here. You could enter by the lobby, come downstairs, and then there's this terrace level entrance, and this is where Ronald Reagan was shot. And I think the guy came in right through there. He would have crossed past the elevators, hung a left. These are the doors. They would have been shut. He would have ran right there and then got stopped right at the stairs, and bam, they got him. And bam, they got him. If we continue going downstairs, you can see how close he might have gotten. Here's the thing. It's a ginormous ballroom. 2,600 people in here. The stage is way up there. So even with a pretty good rifle, with all the security there, if he had got down to that level, nothing would have happened. And this was all filled with tables, so he wouldn't have been able to get anywhere close. You know, that's the other side of the room there. So it makes sense that people in the room didn't necessarily recognize the gunshots for what they were, basically on the other side of a building. The news cameras happened to be on the edge of some of the doorways where the sound would have traveled down through the stairs. But up on stage, when you look at the footage, no one reacts, really. They only kind of notice that people are moving around once security pipes up. So go ahead and hunt around on the Washington Hilton 3D tour. Have fun with your floor plans and your maps and your instant replays. So there he goes. He's gonna come right around here. Oh, here he comes. God, he was fast.
Yo, I didn't even see a door open. Yo, that looked weird. Shout outs to Roy Halter doing a diligence for sure. Yo, that website is probably down. Get it while you can. Yo, that's weird. I didn't know that ballroom was that big. 2,500 people in that place. On top of the coincidence with Reagan, I would say the people in that stage look pretty surprised.
I just want to go find Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
He is ready to rumble. I will tell you, this speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
It was the moment that agents rushed President Trump out of the room. You can see him sitting there.
All right. Where? Any monitoring is there?
The secret.
What?
It's a secret. This is a magic ticket. Someone's noise sees it.
This speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight. There will be some shots fired tonight.
Yo, what's good, y'all? I've been putting people onto this program called Free Cash for a while now, and my DMs are blowing up with people saying, I tried it, just cashed out. I love seeing that because it shows this really works. Now, I've seen a few comments from people saying stuff like, it doesn't work, or they trying to steal your data. That's not true at all. Free Cash doesn't sell your data. They only track your progress so that they can make sure that you get paid. You literally just download, sign up with the email and password, no personal info needed. Here's how it goes. You download and sign up through my link, and inside Free Cash, you'll see a list of apps and games. You download them, play, and beat the levels they tell you. That's the key. You gotta complete the requirement. Once you hit the level, the system credits your account. Every time you finish an offer, you stack points. Those points turn into real money. You can cash out straight to PayPal, crypto, or gift cards. And yeah, it's completely free to use. The reason it works is because the games pay Free Cash to get new players, and Free Cash just shares that money with you for trying them out. It might take a little time to build a big payout, but if you're gonna be on your phone anyway, you might as well make $5 to $10 doing the same thing. So, if you've been sitting on the fence, this is your sign. Hit the link, try a few games, and then DM me your first cash out so I know you're winning too.
Oh, the White House Correspondents' Dinner has just been shot up, if you guys haven't heard by now. And right off the bat, it gets really, really weird. Now, this is the suspect, Cole Allen, who is a teacher for a college preparatory, but if you look into his background, it gets interesting. Like, for one, he gains a mechanical engineering degree from Caltech. Then he gets his master's from Dominguez Hills in computer science. But can anybody tell me why he was an intern back in 2014 at NASA at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which is the same place where some of those missing scientists worked at? But it gets even weirder, you guys. So this account on X by the name of Henry Martinez tweeted his name back in 2023. And how is it that it has the same name, Henry Martinez, in this published paper by NASA? But get this NASA document that was published testing Orion's fairing separation system was actually published a month after Cole started interning there. What? Now, a lot of people were questioning a ton of things like, was this real? Was this fake? Makes you wonder because CNN posted this 3 days ago. This is a real article. It says, how would an assassination attempt be staged? I mean, at this point, you guys, we have to question everything because how is this possible? This account that predicted this guy's name actually dressed up as Trump at the dinner. Like verbatim. So either A, we have a time traveler on our hands, or something else is afoot that we may not know yet. Okay, it's super late. I'm getting some rest. I'm gonna do a part 2 to this because there's a whole lot more that I found. So stay tuned.
Looking forward to it. Shout out to Maverick Approach. Putting in that work. Yo, that's wild. Are we dealing with a time traveler? Or is this all a part of the script? Can't make this stuff up.
I mean, what was the security like on your way in? I mean, how does it appear to have happened?
All the roads were closed. There were choppers overhead, but I walked a couple of blocks to the hotel. I waved my invite at someone who looked at it from about 6 feet away. No one checked my ID. I was checked a little bit on the way into the ballroom, but even when the beeper went off, they didn't ask me to empty my pockets or anything. Now look, the Secret Service did their job. They did say, they did stop this guy from getting into the ballroom. They did their job, but that security cordon was right outside the ballroom doors, and of course the hotel was full of regular guests. And Laura, you've got to remember, this is the very hotel where Ronald Reagan was shot in 1981. Washington Hilton getting a bit of a bad reputation here.
Where are we going? Let's go to side. Let's not go up the middle. This is crazy. USA! USA! USA!
Is it Secret Service protocol to get the vice president out before the president? I always thought it would be the other way around. But as you see how much time it takes, I'm very confused. Like, that seems iniquitous to me. And now you see they come moving, grooving, vibing, sliding in there, but that's a little bit too late. Then his old ass, I've tripped, I'm falling, I can't get up. I mean, my boy is old as fuck, son. Can't even get scurried out of here correctly.
Well, what happened is it was a little bit me. I wanted to see what was happening, and I wasn't making it that easy for him. I wanted to see.
You're a compulsive liar, so I guess I don't find it surprising you would lie about that, but you clearly were not trying to check anything out. You tripped and you fell because you old as fuck, and obviously your Secret Service folded in a critical time. Now, a lot of weird things happened at this White House Correspondents' Dinner. I'm gonna go over all of them. Starting with the manifesto, because clearly his motive right here says, I'm no longer willing to permit hands with his crimes. He didn't say a name specifically, but Trumpstein took that shit to heart.
What's your reaction
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people. Horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rape.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. That crap from some sick person. I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein.
That's what we call a guilty conscience on full display, because his name, not mentioned. Epstein's name, not mentioned. But he put two and two together because he knows exactly what the fuck he been doing. This weird thing is Cole's list of targets, because he says not including Mr. Patel, talking about Dweeb Fisheye Patel, of course. And it's weird because how would he know he was going to be at that correspondence dinner? Because Cash has never attended it, and the FBI director usually doesn't go to that thing. This is Trump's first time ever. Speaking of Dweeb Fisheye Patel, he might as well be out the door and fired already, because while all this is happening, he's just outside on the phone calling people, trying to get informed about what the fuck is going on. Clearly not in the know. And you would think if this happened, a shooting during a White Correspondents' Dinner, the FBI director would be in some sort of room planning out and making decisions. Nope, my boy is outside making phone calls like, what the fuck is going on? Idiot, you're gonna be fired soon. And there's the shots not lining up with the camera footage, where we hear the noises in the other videos, but then when you watch the security footage back, it was like, wait a second, when was that big ass shotgun or whatever y'all was talking about, when he blicked that out? You understand? And if it wasn't at this point in time, that means it was after. But you guys subdued him, stripped him down, butt ass motherfucking naked, and there was no gunshots that were ever fired into him. No bruises, no broken bones, no nothing. That's weird. Obviously, there's this image that raises a lot of questions, but also could be AI. But then there's, how did he get the guns into the hotel? How did he get that close? And somehow motherfuckers just don't know.
Good question. I mean, listen, I'm not sure. It appears that he checked in on the 24th to the hotel, and we're still looking at video surveillance and footage of where he walked and how he got in and how those firearms got in.
This gets a little bit weirder because this random account has one tweet ever, and it just happens to be the name Cole Allen, and that was in 2023. And then you take a look at this background, and the background makes shit even weirder than that. Because when you go to the source of this picture, you get to here, and then you see that. Time machine, whole entire company. Take this weirdly up a notch. Yeah, right? That's weird. Now, obviously, I didn't figure this out. I looked through the internet. Could this all be fake? It could be. But at the same time, I'm going to share the information that I be finding, and I find this very odd and almost too perfectly lined up, and now I can't unsee it even when the image is gone. Especially when the official White House website literally says out loud, our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space. They leave distance annihilated, cause things to grow, and improve productivity. I mean, I have no fucking idea. Maybe the least weird thing of it all is having the puppets use this to then push for the ballroom and say, we need the ballroom, which is basically just an underground bunker that will be his forever home. Actually, you know, there's one more thing that's a little less weird than that. This may not be weird, more hilarious, but par for course. But Henny Hegseth, out of his mind at this correspondence dinner. The jaw never lies. That is not a natural movement. My boy is on the white.
Yo, Pete, what's going on? Shout out to Lawrence Johnson, asking all the right questions. Since when do a VP get ushered out before the main top guy? Yo, that's weird with that picture. I can't unsee it now either.
Stephen A.
Ralph Versa with USA Today. What did you see? What happened?
I didn't see anything. I heard a pop. Once I heard a pop, then you saw, obviously Secret Service and stuff pull out their guns, and everybody was instructed to duck for cover. That's all I saw.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
The shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner was an occult ritual to Saturn. This gave it away. See the shooter laying down on this carpet and all the cubes? Hexagon-shaped cubes, the Tesseract, the black cube of Saturn. This event happened on Saturday, which is Saturn's day. Supposedly, there's a black cube on top of Saturn. Planet Saturn is worshipped by occultists and it represents Kronos, the god of time, hence all the time travel symbolism behind this psyop. The black cube represents mind control, tesseracting the mind or honeycombing the mind programming. That's the real spell. Occult means hidden, mind manipulation, mind programming. That's why the mentalist was there at the event. Obviously, this ritual happened on Saturday, Saturn's day. The shooter has his head laying on this carpet with these cubes, and this whole thing is clearly an occult, which means hidden ritual.
Where's his clothes? Well, it certainly got our attention on Saturn's day. Shout out to Symbolism Syndrome. Looking at the picture, I just can't help but notice a lot of weird, sketchy stuff right here.
Something about this shooting at the White House's Correspondents' Dinner just doesn't feel right to me, especially considering this. This is from an account, right, back in 2023 under the name of Henry Martinez. This was the only post that this account had ever posted, it being Cole Allen. But what I want to point out the most is this cover photo right up here. Because if you just happen to go and try to find that specific photo, you end up at this article right here. Study on quality and 3D digitalization of tangible cultural heritage. Ask yourself, is that really a coincidence? Or the profile picture of the frog wearing a fucking tuxedo? Or maybe his LinkedIn profile. He was a summer undergraduate research fellowship student at JPL, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in 2014. Added modeling capability for planets around several previously excluded stars. Updated the most recent version of the model with new chemical reaction data. This dude knew a lot. So how do you go from rocket scientist work to being a teacher? Also, I'm sure it's just a coincidence that that attempt occurred at the same exact moment that Uranus was changing signs. You know, the planet of disruptive and surprising events. And to make things even more interesting, according to reports, Allen's brother alerted New London Police Department after receiving the alleged manifesto before the incident. U.S. Secret Service and Montgomery County Police Department later interviewed Allen's sister at the family home in Rockville. Key points from the interview: she said that her brother often made radical statements and spoke about doing something to fix today's world. The ironic part about all this is that he was reportedly linked to a group called the Wide Awakes, whose purpose was formed to support the Republican Party, fight against the expansion of you-know-what, defend free speech in America. They were a paramilitary organization organized with captains and lieutenants using military discipline in their rallies and parades, mobilized thousands of young voters and helped elect Lincoln, who then faced national division with the group's actions influencing the start of the Civil War. Keep in mind, okay, and I've already had this discussion before, so I have to be discreet with how I put this. Trump's uncle was the one who investigated the work of Nikola Tesla. Literally a book written by somebody named Ingersoll Lockwood. Keep in mind, this happened in the early fucking 1900s, okay? That was named 1900, or the last... I'm just saying, you can think what you want, but when is this shit going to stop being a coincidence?
Yo, that's wild. Shout out to Beauty Marked. Picking up on these connections, man. Are we dealing with time travelers? This is crazy.
All of these people all of a sudden talking about the ballroom moments after the shooting, this alleged attempted shooting took place, is going to make every liberal go, oh, he didn't even stage the fake assassination attempt to make himself look good. He staged it so he could justify the ballroom. It will 100% be tomorrow's news today. That's the PBS guarantee. I'm telling you right now. I gotta pee.
Because
I bet you he will talk about the ballroom. I think he's going to talk about the ballroom.
I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different because of law enforcement. The law
Biker Broadcasting Service, pre-watch Biker, tomorrow's news today.
Are they trying to connect the missing scientist to the alleged White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter, Cole Thomas Allen? Well, it seems some conspiracy theorists have already started. Let's get into it. So articles are already coming out talking about him being at NASA and Caltech. There are some alleged LinkedIn profiles floating around online saying that he had a fellowship at NASA's JPL, saying that he added modeling capability for planets around several previously excluded stars. Okay, so we have 3 missing or deceased scientists from NASA's JPL, Frank, Michael, and Monica. If Cole was at NASA JPL in 2014, one of the deceased scientists would also have been there, Michael David Hicks. And Michael contributed to planetary science and Earth observation missions. And then, of course, we have Caltech's astrophysicist Carl Grailmeier, who was taken out on his own doorstep this past February. And Cole's alleged LinkedIn profile says that he graduated from Caltech as an engineer. Activities and societies under Caltech Christian Fellowship, Caltech Nerf Club, and reports are saying that the LinkedIn profile appears to be Allen's. When I tried to independently verify and find the LinkedIn profile, I could not. It's being said that the LinkedIn profile was immediately taken down. I don't know if that's true. I feel like he must have had some classmates at Caltech or people who were also doing an internship at NASA's JPL who could maybe come forward and verify if any of this is correct. So if the LinkedIn profile wasn't weird enough, it gets weirder with this post on X saying Cole Allen from a Henry Martinez. Henry Martinez allegedly wrote a NASA document in 2014, which would line him up with the time that Cole Allen was allegedly at NASA in 2014. And here is a Henry Martinez at Lockheed Martin Space Systems. It's also being alleged that he donated $25 to Kamala for president. Listen to this Australian reporter.
This man donated about $35 Australian to a presidential, an election fund for Kamala Harris in 2024. Police looking for any other details that could help them in their investigation.
Here again, we have a possible connection to Caltech. If accurate, this could be Cole Allen, tied to a high school where he played volleyball and graduated in 2013. And then that would match his alleged LinkedIn profile showing a start at Caltech in September 2013. Again, everything I'm saying is being posted on X or coming out in articles. It feels like it's a little early and we're getting a lot of information at once. So I guess time will tell, but so far these are the things that are floating around online. Everything is alleged.
Right, allegedly. A lot of connections right there. Coincidentally, shout out to Sweet and Salty Lynn, Cole Thomas Allen. The next question is, if he's connected to all these scientists that are reportedly missing, what was he even doing there?
I want to just quickly tell you, I was sitting next to Caroline Levitt, the press secretary's husband. He was one of our guests. He was seated right next to me, and right as the dinner was starting, the national anthem happened, and then he kind of leaned over and said, I watched you on TV, you do a great job. You need to be very safe. And he was just very serious when he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, there are some...
Sounds like we lost Aisha's phone there. And this happens, by the way, especially when you have so many people attempting to utilize the same cell service at the same time. I did want to add this while we had a moment.
We were just seated over, I'm seated near one of the doors, and people are shouting USA now. I don't know, I just heard like 4 huge knocks by this door. Everyone. I don't know, maybe it's safe now, but
I'm sorry, but none of this seems real. Like,
at all. You've probably heard by now, a suspect armed with knives and guns tried to storm the White House Correspondents' Dinner tonight. The guy's name was Cole Allen, and he was very quickly neutralized by security. But then people online started to do a little bit of noticing. Pause to read. Yeah, I don't know about you, but it's starting to look like one big show, beginning with what Caroline Levitt said right before the start of the event.
It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
This, by the way, is Trump's first time attending the White House Correspondents' Dinner as president, and CNN ran this article a few hours before saying to expect the unexpected. Within an hour of the incident, Trump tweets out a video of the shooter running through the event. Even though still, for some reason, we can't get any moving pictures of Tyler Robinson. Then it turns out the shooter, Cole Allen, worked at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Very interesting timing given all the UFO stories, so cue the conspiracy theorists on this one. And then there were the reactions, starting with Erica Kirk being Erica Kirk.
I just want to go fly.
I have to say, she looks very upset here, like way more upset than when her husband... Then we got Dana White just loving this whole thing.
It started getting noisy. Tables getting flipped over, guys running in with guns, and they were screaming, "Get down!" I didn't get down. It was fucking awesome. I literally took every minute of it in, and it was a pretty crazy, unique experience.
Totally normal reaction to what is supposedly a presidential assassination attempt. But the most ridiculous thing has to be maybe this coordinated influencer campaign saying this is why Trump needs a new ballroom.
I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it.
We officially live in the dumbest timeline ever.
I agree. There's a lot of NPCs out here saying this was real. It's wild. Shout out to 5149 James Lee. Dana White's response was wild in itself. Mr. Tough Guy, you know? If you think this was real, let us know in the comments down below. Tell us why.
They were screaming, "Get down!" I didn't get down. It was fucking awesome. I literally took every minute of it in. Pretty crazy, unique experience. Where are we going? Damn, you're okay.
Shots Yeah. Copy, hold it 19, hold it 19. Oh my god. Hey, get those press up. Hey, get out of the way. Now, go. Hey, stairs at the terrace in front of you. Stairs. Take them out. Hey, take them out. Get the fuck out of here. Go. Shit. Oh my god. Was he there? Seriously? How did they get a gun in here? I know, I'm fine. What's your question? Are you ready? Deep breaths. I'm just trying to find out.
Awful lot of coincidences on the third assassination attempt of the president. So first, before all the shots rang out, if you're behind on all that, I'll catch you up in 1 second. But listen to what she says right here. Not just what she says, what else she's doing. This was right before the shot started going off in the assassination attempt, which, by the way, left the shooter unalived. They say. But how did he get there? Again, how does that keep happening?
Ready to rumble, is he not?
He is ready to rumble. I will tell you, this speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great.
Y'all, what in the world are the possibilities? She said there'll be some shots fired while throwing up that 666. Y'all, really, what are the possibilities of both of that happening at the same exact time? Of course, all hell is breaking loose. It'd be one thing if it was like, you know, shots fired alone, but when she's flashing the 666 wild, and this is the third time that this has happened. Am I reaching, or does this feel extremely odd to you too? Let me know. And again, the most protected man in the entire world, and this keeps on happening.
Sounds like predictive programming for a major psyop. Shout out to the real Mo Henry.
If you live in the Appalachian area, this is the reason that you have curtains and blinds on your windows and you keep them closed at night. This woman lived in a small town in Virginia in the Appalachian Mountains. She heard knocking on her window and she saw this thing peeking through her window. She got her phone out to record and it just kept looking at her. Now, at one point in the video, she actually starts screaming to try to scare it away so she can go close her blinds. Right here, you can see its teeth. Its teeth. And then it closes its mouth and you can see how its mouth doesn't fully close. It's just like a black void. And it has hollowed eyes and red skin. Now, the woman said she lives close to the coal mines and she thinks this thing crawled up out of them. And from the looks of it, I would too. That is freaking terrifying. And it's watching you through your windows. She had just moved to the area, so she didn't know the rules of living in the Appalachian Mountains. So this is a clear warning. If you move to the area, make sure you close your blinds and windows and lock your doors at nighttime. And if something like this comes knocking on your windows and doors, don't pay it no mind. Act like it doesn't exist and it should go away, hopefully. What do y'all think about this? Let me know.
Looked like Leatherface from the Chainsaw Massacre or something. Shout out to Chelsea. Whoa. Like, yo. It's weird because I feel like I've seen a set of glowing eyes in the back as well. That's what I was looking at first. Then I seen Leatherface. So, very great capture. Like, yo. If you live in the Appalachian Mountains and seen something like this, let us know in the comments down below.
It's not just in the United States where scientists are disappearing mysteriously, but in China too. Something strange is definitely happening to the world's top military defense scientists. Let's look at them together. Here's a list of the Chinese scientists. In some cases, the cause of death is not disclosed. But just look at the areas of expertise. All of them have worked in cutting-edge military technology, microelectronics specialists, including artificial intelligence, hypersonic weapons, nuclear research. I mean, clearly they're all in military defense and space defense. Disturbing questions like this are being raised. Is there a silent scientific war going on among some military analysts? In the United States, scientists missing. Areas of expertise, again, include nuclear weapons, nuclear research, nuclear lab. Let's look at the ones who have passed in the United States. Top scientists detecting signs of alien life. Those looking at planets. Scientists working on infrared telescope, looking at planets with possible water. Research scientist, fusion researcher, pharmaceutical researcher, anti-gravity researcher. These disappearances are, of course, fueling conspiracy theories. Is it a mere coincidence or a well-thought-out plot? Competition between the US and Chinese is deepening, with the Chinese and Russian leaders having proclaimed, quote, changes unseen in a century to the world order, and that they are driving the changes. So, do they not want us to see these changes? In China, they are dying in car crashes in the middle of the night. Chemists, data scientists, space expert, drone expert, biomedical expert, hypersonics expert. There's currently no evidence that any of these are linked to one another, but it's definitely suspicious. And this list doesn't even include the number 12, 13, and 14 that I've reported in previous videos.
Our scientists are in danger. It's like an elite shadow government pulling the strings. A tinfoil hat's worst nightmare. We might be living in the time where we might start seeing things in the sky, like Project BB or something. And because there's no scientists around, they'll have full control.
There is a kind of watermark that you can reach in the insider world called cosmic top secret. And at that point, you're now considered to be 35 levels of need to know above the President of the United States. Because once you get to that level, you are now part of what Rich Dolan has called a breakaway civilization. But what we're dealing with at that level is a very highly classified world that lives either in underground bases, of which I've been debriefed on approximately 265 that our military industrial complex is built. They hold about 60,000 people each. And there's a whole lot of stuff I could talk about with that. But then also there are a series of flying orbital platforms that are cloaked. So they are actually in our atmosphere and they're very large. They actually have those.
That blows my mind.
There is a kind of watermark that you can reach in the insider world.
And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the deep dive. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider to give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Shout outs to all the reactors. Thanks again. Till next time.